Hello, my name is Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 5 of my 1 Billion Iron Ingot Challenge in Minecraft 1.16. In today's episode, I'm going to dive into the mod Industrial Foregoing, and then I'm going to set up a reactor from the mod Bigger Reactors to power the few machines that I have at my base that need energy because coal is just not cutting it right now with this Stirling Dynamo. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to dive into the mod Industrial Foregoing because it will allow me to do some stuff in the future that will be very helpful to me. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some latex production, and that will involve a block placer, which I have right here. So let's go ahead and set that down, and I actually need to flip this around. So let me set this up to be pointed this way, and this face right here is where it's going to place the blocks down. And I'm going to set this to be always on. And I'm going to put acacia logs in here because if we take a look at the recipes for latex, and I'm not sure if it will show, the acacia log gives you more latex than the other types of logs that you can use. Dark oak comes pretty close, but I did find some acacia logs out by a desert, so that's what I'm going to be using. So basically the block placer will place down an acacia log anytime the acacia log is used up. So actually I do not want to have this placed yet because I need to put in the next machine, which is the Flute Extractor. In the Flute Extractor, this face right here will extract fluid from a log, and it will extract latex from acacia logs. So let's go ahead and place the acacia log back down. And so as this bar goes down, it will produce latex here, and it will do a little bit of damage to this acacia log until it is eventually destroyed, in which case this block placer will place down another block. Now, one thing that we can do to speed up this fluid extractor is to provide it with energy, so that's what I'm going to do right now. So I have plenty of these basic universal cables here that I made between episodes, so I might as well use them, and use them we will. So let's go ahead and place this down and hook it up to this machine here. So that should speed up the duration of this machine right here, and it more than doubles the speed. So that's actually really fantastic. So we are getting a decent amount of latex from this one fluid extractor. So the next thing that I want to do with that fluid extractor is actually place the latex into a fluid encapsulator because I need to use that later to make a latex processing unit. I need a bucket of latex before I can make this block, so that's how we're going to gather up this latex into a bucket. And I'm going to put this fluid encapsulator right here. I am going to configure it to be insert from the left. I'm going to be auto inputting, and it does pull the latex out, as you can see right here. And I'm just going to simply have to wait for this to grab a bucket of latex. And I do need to provide it with power, actually. So let's go ahead and do that while we can. So let's grab the basic universal cable. So this is going to take a little while, so I'm going to cut away. I might even do a little bit of mining between now and then. And once I have 1 bucket's worth of latex right here, I will be right back. So I finally have almost enough latex, and actually I do right now. So let's go ahead and turn this auto input off because I don't want to get too much latex in here. I just need 1 bucket's worth. And that is good. So we have our bucket of latex. We can go ahead and get rid of this machine because that's all I needed that for. So let's throw the fluid encapsulator in here, and let's go ahead and make the latex processing unit. And the only reason I'm really crafting this on camera is because I couldn't do it beforehand. So there is the latex processing unit, and I am going to be putting it right here, but I will need to give this water as well. So I'm going to have to reroute my energy cable a little bit, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I also need a method to give this system water. So I'm going to have to build that down here somewhere. So let's grab the basic universal cable. And for right now, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just run this cable around like this. It's unelegant and it looks really ugly, but it will do the trick. So let's, and we're going to have more machines over here. So let's continue to run the cable like this. Now we need to, and actually that was not the smartest thing to do. I can go ahead and hook this back up here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and get rid of this for right now because I need a source of water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flex bore, I'm going to dig out a little area down here, and I'm going to make an infinite water source. And I actually just realized I need another water bucket. So let me do that real fast. I actually have water right outside my front door, so that won't take too long. Okay, there we go. There's water. And I do have jetpack on, so that's why I'm able to fly right now. So let's go ahead and make that infinite water source down here. Right there. Right there. And then we can go ahead and put that right there as well. And so we're going to use a machine called an aqueous accumulator from the thermal series of mods. And we're going to put this kind of in the middle of this pool of water. And it should get water into its internal tank here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use some basic mechanical pipe from Mechanism. It's pretty easy to craft. It's just steel and buckets. And we're going to put this like so, and I will need a configurator, which is a little more complicated to craft. So let's show its crafting recipe real fast. I think I've made just about everything on camera, all of that on camera. So there's that, and I need to configure this to be an output to output into this latex processing unit. So that is cool. Now I can hook up the energy because I don't need any more access tin down there. So let's go ahead and do that. And so we have water, we have energy, and now we just need the latex, which is in here. So what I can do is I can tell this to be to pull from the left, and it should grab that latex. And so what this latex processing unit will do, it will turn liquid latex and fluid water into these tiny dry rubber balls. So these tiny dry rubber balls I will need to make into bigger rubber balls to be able to furnace to make plastic. And plastic is just kind of one of the basic things that you need to make a lot of the industrial foregoing machines. So that's why I'm bothering to set up this system. So what we're going to do with this sequential fabricator is I'm going to tell it to input from the left. We are going to tell it to auto input, and apparently can't do that, but from this machine anyways. So hang on, let me check something real fast, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I thought OBS had crashed again. It's been doing that a lot recently, and I was concerned. So what we need to do with this latex processing unit to get the tiny dry rubber out is, I think I know what's going on. The sequential fabricator, you need to put in a pattern before it will actually accept items. That way it doesn't accept items that it can't use. So the pattern that we're going to use is just 9 tiny dry rubber makes a dry rubber. And then we will hit the check mark here, and it should be able to automatically import any of the dry rubber. If we put the dry rubber in here, there it goes. So it is in here now. Once we have 5 of these guys, it will turn into the dry rubber, which can be used in a furnace to make plastic. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to set the right side to be output. We are going to tell it to be an auto output. And then we need to give power to a machine that we are going to put right here, which is going to be a furnace. Now you should be able to use just about any furnace right here. You could use a stock furnace if you wanted, but I prefer the powered furnace. So we're just going to tell it to input from the left and output to the top to a chest right here. And this chest will be plastic at some point once obviously we get enough of this tiny dry rubber. And so this system should be good to go. So what I'm going to do is grab a bucket of water because I might need that in the future. And let's go ahead and neaten or tidy this up a little bit. In the future, I will probably put an energy cell right here so that you can't actually see down there to all the guts of the system. But I will probably do that in the future. So the next thing that I want to do in today's episode is set up a reactor from the mod Bigger Reactors. And that's because coal power is just not cutting it anymore. So as we can see, my Stirling Dynamo is actually out of coal right now, but my energy cube right here does have some energy still in it. So let's go ahead and kind of get rid of all of this stuff right now. I'm going to leave the energy cube there for right now. And actually, I think I'm going to punch a hole right here in my base because I'm going to set the reactor outside and I can actually use that hole once I get the reactor set up. So the mod Bigger Reactors is kind of a continuation of the mod Big Reactors that used to be around. And then after that, I think there was the mod Extreme Reactors, which was the continuation. And now this is basically just another continuation of that mod. So let's go ahead and set up our reactor out here. How do I want to do this? Let's actually flatten this down just a little bit more. and then we can go from there. Okay, so yeah, I am going to put it flush up against my building here. So the bigger reactors basically adds multi-block reactors that can produce energy out of uranium. So that's what we're going to be using. And all of these blocks basically, and actually I need to come back in here to sleep. But let me show you how to make the, okay, I don't know what my cat's doing. He's causing interruptions. But anyways, to make some of the charcoal, or not charcoal, but to make some of the crafting ingredients we needed, actually I forget what it's called. And my cat is in my way. So let's just go at reactor, sorry. So for all of this stuff, we need graphite, and to make graphite, basically you just furnace coal. It's a pretty simple process. So let me go over here and go to sleep real fast. And let's go back out here and continue the process. So on the bottom of a bigger reactor, I'm actually not 100% sure if you need to use reactor casing, but I do know that underneath your fuel rods, you do need reactor casing. Right here, we are going to have a reactor power tap, and that is because that is where I want to extract the energy from the reactor. And then let's go ahead and build the reactor up. So this reactor is not going to be very large, but it isn't going to be super small either. And actually, I might need to make a few more blocks here. So kind of the shell of the reactor needs to be these reactor casings, and then you can use some glass for some of the other parts of the reactor, which I will show here in just a little bit. But here is kind of the shell of the reactor, and internally you can use air blocks in combination with some other blocks. There are lists out on the internet of the moderating blocks that you can use in the internal part of the reactor here. But the way you get energy out of it is you have these reactor fuel rods, and you have uranium inserted into the reactor, and you make energy through that uranium. So let's go ahead and build this up. And on top of your fuel rods, they do need to be linear. You will have these reactor control rods, which basically allow you to adjust the energy output of the reactor. And then right here, I am going to put a reactor terminal, and that will allow me to control the operation of the reactor. And then I need to insert some reactor glass. And where I'm putting this reactor glass, you could actually put more reactor casing, but I like to be able to see into my reactor, so that's why I use reactor glass where I can. So actually, I need 2 more blocks that I didn't craft up, and those are kind of the IO blocks. So I will make some of those here in just a second. But let's get this mostly built. So actually, I think I might be able to finish the reactor. When it finishes, it does change from black to red on the terminal. However, this is an unusable reactor because I do not have any way to get the uranium into the reactor. So let's go ahead and break that real fast, and let's go back inside and make those access ports, I think they're called. So let's see. If we type in reactor, and I can't spell, they should be not coolant ports, access ports, yes. So let's see if I can make, I need 2 of them. So I need to make another chest. I actually should have a chest somewhere, so yeah, let's grab that. And then make 1 more of these reactor access hatches. There we go. And then I should be able to use hoppers to get things out, as well as some piping. Let me actually grab some piping real fast. Okay, so this is what I need. Basic logistical transporter. It's just basically atom pipe. And I don't have that, so sorry about that, but I'm going to go ahead and make this. It's osmium and redstone. And I need 1 osmium and 2 redstone, I believe. And this machine right here, the metallurgical infuser. So let's go ahead and do that. And this machine is kind of slow. I have not upgraded it. So yeah, whatever. So let's clean up the inventory just a little bit while I'm here. By just a little bit, apparently I meant just a little bit. So let's grab that basic control circuit. Let's put it right here and grab that. And let's grab a chest as well. So I have a chest, I have a couple hoppers, I have some item pipe. I should be able to, actually I do need some uranium as well to power the reactor. So let's grab some of that. This reactor is relatively small, so it won't hold very much uranium. So let's just grab 3 stacks because that should be more than enough. And let's go ahead and complete this reactor. So on one side, we're going to have an input, and one side we're going to have an output. And you can configure these by right-clicking on here. And let's tell this one to be the input and this one to be the output, and you do that right there. And yeah, we want output waste and not fuel. So let's go ahead and put a chest right here. We're going to put a hopper inserting into there, and then a hopper inserting into the chest right there. So in this hopper, we're going to place the uranium fuel, and as the reactor fuels up, you'll actually see this level rise in the fuel rods, if you can see the fuel rods at all. And there we go. The reactor is fueling up, and let's go ahead and go back inside my base and hook that reactor up to my energy output, or my energy cell rather. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this energy cell, and it should keep its inventory. It does. So we're going to move that to be right here, and I need to set this up to be accept from the back. Should be input on the back and output to the bottom, and that should work just fine. And then I need to hook that up to my energy supply here like so, and that should work just fine. And actually I probably don't need to do that because at some point I will probably put a machine right here. So let's just go ahead and assume I'm gonna do that, and I shouldn't have got rid of that. Thank goodness I can fly. So let's put this right here, because I will probably put a machine right here, and there we go. So let's block that up. I guess I could have used dirt there, but that's okay. So I will put a machine there at some point so you won't be able to see out, but let's go ahead and make sure that this reactor is going to work and output energy to that energy cell. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And I'm making way more power than I need, so let's go ahead and turn this off, and let's throttle this reactor a little bit. So the thing is about the initial reactor you will probably build, which is not a actively cooled design. This is known as a passively cooled design. An actively cooled design would have like a turbine attached to it. So the reactor itself would make steam out of water, and that the steam would go to a turbine, which would then make energy. However, this design uses it's passively cooled. So yeah, you just make straight energy out of this. So, and these reactors are relatively inefficient at full throttle, so we are going to throttle these down. So if you hold your mouse over this right here, you can see the different controls that we have. And we do want to insert these quite a bit. I was making way more energy than I need. So let's go ahead and okay, let's hold Alt because we want to apply this to all 3 rods. Your designs typically are more efficient if you have the rods controlled in the same way. You don't have to do that though. So let's insert this to, let's do 90%. So basically we're at 10% throttle at that point. So let's turn this back on and see where we're at energy wise. So with my dynamo before, I was producing 80 RF per tick. And yeah, I'm producing way more than that at super low throttle here. So these over here are basically statistics on the reactor. Basically how hot the reactor is, how much energy you're making, how much fuel you're burning, and reactivity rate. Reactivity rate is better if it's higher, but with a small reactor like this, it's really hard to get it very high at all. And this number is not very high. But I'm not going to be going over all of that at this point. Let's just make sure that the energy is making its way into the energy cell, which I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is, because we can see this moving up even as we are producing things or using machines that are using energy. So I think that's a fairly good stopping point for the day. I am going to throttle this reactor down even further, and I can do that while it's on. I just didn't want to at first. So let's hold the Alt key as we insert this. Let's do 96%, because I think we'll still have enough energy to run everything, and that will keep my fuel consumption very, very low. And I don't know why I didn't look at how much energy I'm producing, because that's what I really need to look at here. Basically, as long as I'm above 100 RF per tick, I will be happy. So let's actually even reduce it just a little bit more. Okay, so basically we're at 3% throttle. Yeah, okay, so we're still over 100 RF per tick. That should be plenty of RF for my current machines to run everything, including my MA system, which is obviously not very large and doesn't use very much power. So yeah, that is a pretty good stopping point. So in today's episode, I set up this system right here that will be able to make plastic, and I apparently forgot to auto output that. But the plastic will go into this chest right here. Occasionally, I will have to provide more acacia logs, but for the most part, this is an automatic system, which is pretty fantastic. And then in the later part of the episode, I built this bigger reactor, excuse me, from the mod Bigger Reactors. It will provide me with a lot of energy at pretty low fuel cost, to be honest, which is pretty fantastic. And so hopefully in the very near future, I will be able to get some automatic resources, and I will probably be using the energy from this reactor to do so. So if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop a like down below. And if you enjoy watching automation type stuff in modern Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.